your worst, give me your best shot. Do your worst, is that all you've got? Do your worst, give me your best shot. Do your worst, is that all you've got? Do your worst.
Welcome back to Do Your Worst, the show where we're trying to find the absolute worst horror movie ever made. And if you're just joining us, here's what's going on here. I have asked you guys to send me your worst horror movie, the worst thing you've ever seen. And I compiled a massive list of them. And what I did was I took that list and I put it into a randomizer, and every month I choose 7 completely at random to go through. And sometimes, like last month, movies aren't that hard, so why do I have a feeling that this month is gonna make up for that? Number 7. Let's start things off here with a film suggested by Arlie and Jay, and it's 2012's Sadistic Eroticism. It's set at Chastity High School, and the opening has a rather large montage of a bunch of the wacky students who go there, most of whom make faces for the camera. It's set in 1987, and we're in a class where the teacher is this woman in a very obvious wig, I think to make her look older, but she's clearly around the same age as most of the students. It's shot on video, the low-grade video from a camcorder bought at the department store, and most of the sound is pretty terrible, except for Frankie, whose voice is hilariously dubbed.
Hey,
Miss Canker, how about instead of just giving us all this busy work and writing your tenure, why don't you do your job and actually teach us something?
Until he's not.
I am the authority in this room.
But then, here's where things get weird. One of the girls in the class takes a personal massager and, personally massages herself in class. Comedically, they keep cutting away to reactions from the other students, but that student is clearly visible in some of them just sitting there. So it's obvious those reaction shots weren't meant to be for this specific action. Well, the teacher slips and falls and dies, and the principal is a leather daddy. And when another teacher is teaching evolution, one of the students objects.
If you teach that book to all these heathens here, they'll rot in hell.
I hope God smites you down in the fiery pits of hell and brimstone.
Meanwhile, that one girl is still up to her tricks, and she and another student have sex in the middle of the classroom. And what the hell is going on here? This is a full 23 minutes into the movie, and nothing has happened except dumb sex jokes. And even then, only like 3 of them. Well, the teach gets rowdy from watching the students have sex and goes to the bathroom to handle himself and gets a science experiment on him, which causes mutation. Oh, his name is Mr. Fondler. Get it? I don't. Just so you get an idea of the type of humor that they're going for, there's also this guy, a black man wearing a bad wig and a swastika armband. Like, get that joke? Get it? I don't get that one either. Maybe explain it to me. So everyone mugs for the camera like this. So it's very clear that the whole movie here is trying to make a trauma movie in the style of Lloyd Kaufman. And I'm pretty sure that this was greatly inspired by Class of Nukem High. And everything just goes on for so long. But then they get a new teacher. One that the janitor warns them is pure evil. But it turns out that she's just an adult film star. And she says that she's going to teach about non-traditional history. But I guess she stands around and talks to herself about her own evil plans?
And his friends seemed the same. Oh well, I guess it won't be long until I suck the whole erotic youth out of this whole school.
So what is this? Well, it's definitely a tribute to trauma, and it's written and directed by Alex Powers, and it was his first film. And he'd make a few other things after this, although not much. And here's where I tell you the most shocking thing about this. It's 2 hours and 25 minutes long. Yes, I guess no one was available to edit, and they shot all of this footage. And you know, if you shoot something, well, then you just have to use it. And it's easily our best rated film that we're going to talk about today, because on IMDb it's at a 6.3 out of 10. And on Letterboxd it has a 1.9, but that's out of 5. So if we made that out of 10, we double it and make it a 3.8. So if we add those two together, it's landing at a 10.1 out of a possible 20 points, which is one of the better rated films on this whole series. But I'm sorry, I can't agree. This is difficult to get through. It's just trying way too hard. And I say that as someone that likes trauma movies. I know I've said this before, but my tolerance for bad comedy is much shorter than my tolerance for bad horror. And this would have been not to my liking at 80 minutes. So when it gets to almost 150 minutes, I'm in pain. Oh, and if you're suckered in by the promise of it being an erotic horror film, just know that most of the nudity is coming from Sophie D. And you can see way more of her elsewhere. But I gotta tell you, if this is the best rated film on this roster, I am not looking forward to what lies ahead.
Nope.
Number 6. Our next recommendation here is from Steve-O the Stooge, and he says that I should check out 2024's Waspzilla, which kind of sounds like my sort of movie, so things are looking up. There's this hunter in the woods, and he shoots at a deer, but accidentally hits a barrel of toxic waste, which mutates a wasp that somehow transforms him into a literal explosion of blood. There's then a small-town sheriff, and he gets a FaceTime 911 call? I guess that's a thing? And it's from Mel Heflin, and I want to say that it's like the 7th movie I've covered with her in it this year. His deputy is a young woman with sleeve tattoos who sleeps naked, and I love this because it's clear someone didn't read their lines, right? But they had to edit it together anyway. The sheriff says this.
Yeah, get a hold of her, take her with you.
I,
Yes, you do.
So it's clear that the line was supposed to be, do I have to? So the response of, yes you do, makes sense. But the actress said, why, instead, and they just ran with it. There's then a news report in which the anchor stumbles on her lines at least twice, and apparently this is the police uniform here. Waspzilla is lurking around the lake area, and so are these two who are fishing, and can't go 10 seconds without making an entendre about poles. But you do get this amazing reaction. It's then a series of random encounters with people getting attacked by the wasp, and then the military send helicopters to fly over stock footage, and they get destroyed. And I love that this thing is now a big enough deal that the army is actively involved, but later there's just people that have no idea what it even is and that there's a danger outside. Plus, there's this guy who reacts to a giant wasp trying to kill him like it's no big deal, and just kind of walks away from it and talks to it in a deadpan voice.
You missed, asshole.
And look, it's clear that you're not meant to take any of this too seriously. And they knew what they were doing with it. And it's by James B. Thomason. And he's made a few other backyard horror flicks like Claws of Carnage and Killer Kong. And he's just doing the whole make a bunch of micro-budget flicks with the hopes that one of them gets a viral following thing. This one didn't get too bad of notes since the IMDb rating is a 4.3 and the Letterboxd score was a 2.4, which is actually decently high because if we double that it's a 4.8, and combine the two of these together and the total score is 9.1. Again, not that bad. And it's fine. It's probably another case of trying too hard, but it's not getting grating like Sadistic Eroticism. My biggest complaint about it is that everyone is acting like they're about to fall asleep. There's no emotion in anyone's voice, no urgency, no nothing. When your best reaction in the entire film is that earlier clip with the guy joke screaming, there might be a problem. But all in all, it's not a hard film to watch. It does wear out its welcome, and the hour and 20-minute runtime feels too long, but it's not extremely painful.
Where's your ass at now? I'm ready.
Number 5. Well, I guess I have to do this. I've been avoiding watching Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl Bolorama 2 for a long time now, but Peter Danier suggested it, so I guess we're watching it. I love the first film, and I've heard nothing good about this one, so I didn't want to see it, but the time is now. We're at a sorority and meet a couple of pledges, but then the house mother is Kelly Maroney, and she's playing a woman named Auntie Snake. And they're worried about the reputation of their little club and are about to lose their standing and house. But then it's revealed that Snake is Spider's sister, and in the first film, Spider was Linnea Quigley, and they say that she unleashed a curse on the house, and we get a flashback to that film. Seems like Spider's in jail now, and of course, like the first film, there's a shower scene, although this one has an actual working shower head, so that's a step up. But then there's a new arrival to their group with Bitsy here, and they do the time-honored initiation of spraying everyone down with whipped cream. And you know, ages ago I covered the original film in a video, and Christy verified the accuracy of this whole thing since she was in a sorority, so I have to ask again, how accurate is all this?
Oh my god, totally. It's like watching a home video of my actual initiation, except those girls are actually wearing clothes.
Just like the original, they bust some dudes spying on them, and inspired by Snake's story, they decide to challenge them to also break into the bowling alley. And then there's a series of shenanigans before they accidentally knock over that trophy and once again unleash the imp, which is still a puppet. But not only do they set him free, but they also unleash the spirits of Brink and Michelle, once again playing Lisa and Taffy, although much older now. And yeah, he does the wishes, and of course, they go wrong. And honestly, it's mostly just a remake of the first film, just cheaper looking. And that's saying something because Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl Bolorama was made for like a quarter. I guess David DeCaccio was busy because he didn't come back to direct, and Brink Stevens herself handled that job. I guess Linnea was meant to return, but injured her knee before shooting and couldn't travel. So Maroney stepped in to do the role, and they rewrote it to be her sister instead. It's not too poorly regarded since it has a 3.3 out of 10 on IMDb and a 1.8 on Letterboxd, so double that and it's a 3.6, and the total of the two together is a 6.9, which is appropriate, but it's not altogether terrible, and neither is this movie. Honestly, it's not good at all, but it's barely an hour long, and it moves fast enough and has some silly stuff. Like, I wish it were more fun, and I wish it took more risks as opposed to just doing what the first movie did, but honestly, it's fine. Number 4. Well, this suggestion is coming from another one of my patrons, Masoko, and I guess it's time now. Time to enter 2005's Trash House. It has Lucy here going to this house by invitation, and there's a group of people here. And I should mention it's shot on super low-end video, and the audio appears to be recorded on a Mr. Microphone.
Quite the opposite. You're all very well-balanced people.
How nice of you to notice.
I didn't.
Seems they have files on everyone there, and I guess they're submitting to having microchips placed in their brains via a dodgy green screen computer presentation. Our host can also make objects appear out of thin air and have low-grade digital effects happen behind him. They all get chipped, and the chip will allow them to control reality, although it shuts down from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. They're then there for the weekend, and the experiment begins. This guy kicks things off by bringing forth an X, and this dude just makes a bunch of money, but then there's this fascinating story about a man who took too many drugs and thought he was a dolphin and made a dolphin sound. This girl takes advantage of being able to learn as much as possible, and they're being monitored. And they settle into their parts of the experiments. Learning, boning, and just plain talking, but two of them hook up together instead of creating other people. Things take a turn though when the jerky one of the group gets ticked off at the smart girl for poking into his life and kills her and creates a woman to go kill the sex fiend, transforming into a 2005 level digital effect while doing it. He then makes a whole bunch of nightmare scenes and the others have to survive it. And I guess that's the point, that the technology at this point was so low grade that even the digital fantasy world looked like 2005 CGI? So I guess this was written and directed and produced and edited all by Pat Higgins, and this was his first film. But he'd go on to make things such as The House on the Witch Pit and Power Tool Cheerleaders versus the boy band of the Screeching Dead. And this one is at a 3.1 on IMDb, our lowest score so far, and the Letterboxd score is a 1.7, so double that's a 3.4, and that makes the total overall a 6.5, which is slightly lower than Sorority Babes. And I guess that this was shot for a super low budget over the course of a week and a half. And here's the thing, the script here is decent. I actually like the concept and some of the character stuff that it's doing. From that aspect, it's not terrible. The problem is that every single technical aspect of this is rock bottom. Just awful. It's shot terribly, the acting is passable at best and wooden at its worst, and the effects are silly looking, the sound is muddy, just every aspect. If this one had some sort of budget, well, I still don't think it would be that good because it's dull for quite a bit, but it surely would have been better. Number 3. Moving down the roster here, and this next one was a suggestion from another patron, Chachor. And let's go to 2007 with Canitas Presencia. This guy brings his boss home for dinner one night and meets his family and says he'll be staying with them for a bit. And one of his family is this kid that doesn't really talk and just imitates animals. Things get weird when there's a dead animal in the house and there's family drama, so sister decides to go see a fortune teller about her dead ex-boyfriend. The guy has a meltdown and tells them that there's evil in their house, but they kind of brush it off. But then there's more oddities, like an earthquake. They then go to the ex's grave, but get distracted by making out and then attacked by birds. Eventually, they do the thing that is the next logical step and they pull out a Ouija board. But that goes wrong practically right away. And that leads to her boyfriend getting killed while in a bar restroom. And it's kind of hilarious because the body is standing on his head. I don't know if it's meant to be scary, but it's not. It's just funny. But then Manuel shows up as a ghost, a very not scary ghost. And this is almost an hour in. This is a 90-minute movie, and I can't begin to tell you how little has actually happened. The pacing is so damn slow that I felt like I'd been there for hours, and yet, nope, only one. They try an exorcism, and then a string of supposedly spooky stuff starts happening, and man, I think you figured out the secret, because I can barely be bothered to care what's going on here. It's just so boring. And here's the deal. This is directed by Julio Cesar Estrada, and his films are all made in Mexico, and he's never really crossed over. But the important distinction is that this is based on a book that claims to be a true story. In fact, the tagline was, "This is not a horror movie, this is real." And it appears that back in the 2000s on daytime talk shows, they would talk about a man named Carlos Trejo, and he says that he was a professional ghost hunter, and he soon became a household name, especially after he released the book Canitas. It said it was the true story of how he joined the profession, and it's said to be the story in the film. But the whole thing was then shown to be fake, and it was just a persona he created. And the movie ended up being massively ridiculed over how ridiculous that the whole thing was. The IMDb score is only a 2.2, with the Letterboxd score also low at a 1.3. Double that, it's 2.6, and if we add them, it's only a 4.6, which is an overall low tally. And yeah, I agree. this is painful to sit through, mainly because it's a slog. It looks like it has something of a budget, but still feels so amateurish with wooden performances and goofy-ass ghosts. And I found myself just staring at the ceiling, waiting for this to be over. Number 2. Let's move on to this next one, and it's been suggested by The Terrible Aussie, and he suggested I watch 2021's Badass Bunyip. And what's a bunyip, you say? Well, I'll get to that, because there's this screen before the movie, and I have a bad feeling about this because remember what I said about bad comedies? We're in Melbourne on Christmas Day, and this guy has to go out and test the water. And there's a voiceover that I think is him talking, but he's trying to be funny, but not telling jokes, just sort of talking. But he's attacked and killed, but they shoot it with this weird effect on the screen. Then there's this couple, and the guy is wearing this wig, and they claim to be lost, even though they're right by the road here. Just overact a storm.
Come on! Oh, yeah. Come on! Come on!
But then this guy in a Santa hat and jacket gets killed by this Hellraiser-looking monster, which is just a guy in a mask. And what is a bunyip? Well, it's an Australian cryptid, and there's no set description of them, but they live near water, and they've been depicted as crocodile-looking things or wolf-looking creatures, just a whole bunch of things. And I don't understand how this was shot. It's like they just went out and pointed the camera at a bunch of different things with no plan on how to link them up. The creature attacks this woman, and they just reuse her scream about 5 times in a row. And most of the scenes are overlaid with this really loud didgeridoo, which gets annoying after the 4th minute straight of it. I guess these two are Dazza and Shazza, and he finds an old used condom and says he plans to wash it out and reuse it, which I guess is humor. We follow them around for like 20 minutes, intercut with random people being killed in crimes of editing. There's also a musical interlude that's just like tough. And then there's this like 2 minutes unbroken bit where Shazza is just eating to this stale music, and oh my god, what am I watching here? Guess I don't have a sense of humor. And this just goes on and on. In fact, this movie is 1 hour and 47 minutes long. And you know, it's gonna be hard to compare this to Sadistic Eroticism, especially considering that one was longer, but I don't know, this one might feel it. The director is Gerardo Chiarchia, and I guess it's his first full feature, but he did a bunch of shorts outside of it. But it was written by David Black, who also plays Dazza. And this is like someone just saying, hey, what if humor is just being gross and offensive? What if you don't need jokes? You just say the things. And the answer to that question is this movie. And its IMDb score is a 2.6, which is pretty low, but actually higher than Canitas. And the Letterboxd is only a 1.1. So if we double that together, it's a 4.8, tied with Canitas. And it's a pretty rough overall score, and I hate it. It's not only amateur filmmaking, but it's amateur writing, and it seems to be from people involved in other stuff. So they should probably know better, but I feel like I just got punched in the face. Number 1. Our final one is coming at us from the recommendation of Bruce Kaskiaski, and it's from 2025, and it's the Arkansas Pigman Massacre. It starts with a Texas Chainsaw style narration and text crawl telling us about two girls that went through an ordeal back in 2004. We then have some shots of a lady on a motorcycle, and when I say some shots, I mean we get like a solid 2 minutes of her just riding down the road and then stopping to stretch. She builds a tent out there, but uh-oh, there's a dude in a pig mask just wandering around, and he attacks her, leading to this exciting sequence. He chases her, but sometimes he's right behind her, and others he's real far away, but I guess she loops around and decides to hide inside the tent? Well, as you would expect, he gets her and stabs her until her chest is replaced by a plastic appliance that you'd buy at Spirit Halloween. Speaking of that, I typed in pig mask in my Bing search, and this exact one came up to order for like 15 bucks, so clearly no expense was spared here. We then meet this little girl, and she's on the phone with her dad, and oh, her dad is Eric Roberts. And this little girl is like 12. So I guess that she was born when he was 57 years old. Like, guys, Eric is 69 years old now. Dad roles aren't really making sense unless the kid is an adult. And I'm assuming Roberts will only be in this one scene, likely shot in 15 minutes or so. And I'm really curious what the rate for that is. And like, does Eric Roberts being in your movie even mean anything anymore? Little Tracy is very familiar looking, and I'll talk about that in a bit, but her and her friend Chelsea hang out, although we get more piggy action. There's also everyone's favorite new low-budget film staple, drone shots, and plenty of them. The girls go for a car ride, and I should point out that this is 24 minutes into this movie, so if you were hoping for one of those story things, or a plot doohickey, you're gonna have to wait a little longer. The Pigman attacks them and drags off Chelsea's brother, and they just go into the woods to hide instead of just locking the car doors. But, you know, I guess they're safer in this tent. They then wander around the woods for a while, and I do mean a while. And when I say a while, I mean there's a solid half hour of this that's just two little girls walking or running through the woods while a man in a pig mask runs or walks behind them. Oh, and I should point out that the pig man eats his victims, and I'm not sure how it works because it's clearly a mask, but I think there's the possibility that it's not supposed to be a mask. Maybe this guy is supposed to be an actual pig man? And I kind of knew what to expect here because it's written and directed by J.T. Chris, and he made Ghosts of Amityville, which is essentially the same exact thing. And the main little girl is, I'm assuming, his daughter. So I feel like this is all just like shot on the weekends in their backyard and stuff. And the IMDb score isn't awful since it's at a 3, but on Letterboxd, it's only at a 0.8. I should stress that the highest score that it has on Letterboxd at the time that I'm writing this is one person gave it 2 stars. But if we double that and make it out of 10, it's a 1.6. So the combined score on this movie is just a 4.6. And yeah, it's a rough one. But the main point of complaint is just that it's really dull and nothing much happens for 90 minutes. I'm not joking when I say that this movie is an hour and a half of two girls running through the woods, and I should point out that he's stopped in the ending after one of the 12-year-old girls lightly taps him in the neck with an axe. So now let's go through these and decide who did their worst. We had 7 movies of varying degrees of terrible, but all of these were someone's worst film. Our least offensive here, the easiest to get through, is gonna be Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl Ballerama Part 2. Yeah, it's not good, and considering the original, this is a major step down, and just a crappier remake of it that misses everything that made the original great, but it's bearable. Next up is Waspzilla. This is another one that I don't think I enjoyed, but it wasn't tough to get through. It had some humor I enjoyed and some backyard charm, but just not enough to sustain the runtime. Our number 5 film is probably Trash House. This was a tough list, guys. But this one had at least a nugget of a good concept behind it. but it's just executed in the worst way possible. Our next one, and man, so much crap to get through here, but I guess we'll go with Canitas Presencia. This one likely had the most polish out of any of these, but it's just so boring that it feels so much longer than it is. At number 3, and I can't believe that this is number 3 because I didn't enjoy watching it one bit, and it's Arkansas Pigman Massacre. It's not really enjoyable, and nothing happens in it, but I guess I wasn't pulling my eyes out? So this was a tough call here because these last two were pain. And I think it's the attempted humor aspect, but at number 2, I'm going with Sadistic Eroticism. On any other list, this would be number 1. And the painful thing here is that this one is trying to be bad, but it's not doing it in any way that's fun for the viewer. And that makes our worst one here the hardest to get through. It's going to be Badass Bunyip. This is just completely and totally lacking anything entertaining, and it's just the most grating film I've seen in a long time. So, congratulations, Terrible Aussie. You have done your worst. But here's the real question. Can it unseat the reigning champion, The Hospital 2, for the worst? And the answer is yes. I would rather watch that grim again than sit through Badass Bunyip. So, congrats, Terrible Aussie. You're now the reigning champion of the worst. So there you have it, 7 movies that are all pretty terrible. This was a rougher one. You guys are getting it now. Thank you for suggesting some true garbage for me to have to sit through. But yeah, go ahead and put other suggestions down below. Do you have something that you think is worse than this? Put it in the comments down below, and maybe it'll be in a future episode. It's all totally random at this point. Let me know that. If you enjoyed this video, if you like watching me suffer, you better hit that like button for me. If you like this channel, subscribe to it and hit the bell to get notified when other episodes go live. And also check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/movietimelines, and you can help support this channel. We actually, on the Patreon, we do live Zooms where we actually do the random picking of the movie, so you kind of can see what I'm going to be tortured with before I am tortured with it. So yeah, go check that out. And otherwise, keep on coming back and watching these videos, and we'll see you once again as 7 more people try to do their worst.
Do your worst, give me your